And we are live. I had to check real quick because last week I was actually viewing uh, my live stream on the phone in case anybody had came in, and Bargain Beauty ended up coming in, but it wasn't showing on my phone until I clicked back over to my screen. Then I seen it, and I was like, dang it. So I set it up on my computer as well so that way I can keep on checking on that as well. But tonight we're going to be talking about the Sisterwives episode 14, or season 14, episode 12, calling being gay and religious. And I'm going to go ahead and share my screen like I normally do. And this is what we're going to show. And as you can see, and I want to make this clear because YouTube is finicky about it, I did bleep out the G word and the R word in my thumbnail and whatnot because I'm not monetized. But I know if that ever does happen, or if even in general, YouTube is going to look at you as a not a recommended channel, because I know, which is it's so stupid and it sucks. But a lot of people who talk about this type of topic end up usually getting a boot, or YouTube doesn't like it. So that's why it's like that. I have nothing against it, but that's just the way YouTube is. So I wanted to clear that up real quick, and I hope everyone is having a good night, good day, wherever you are. And tonight's going to be on the season 14, episode 12. Quite a few. It's a little bit, more detailed episode than what the last ones have been, where they've been dragged out. So that's a good thing, I would think. Just a quick reminder. If you have not subscribed and you like anything reality TV with a little bit of makeup, be sure to subscribe down below and hit that notification bell to make sure it's set to all, so you get all my notifications right after I do this video or this live stream. I'm working on a video. I have said that, and I haven't gotten, because a lot of topics are very time sensitive, so you have to get it out there quick. So it depends on if I have the time to do it. So that's why I haven't been able to do it like I want to. But this episode, the Sisterwives take a trip to Chicago, where Mariah and Audrey are, which Mariah is Mary and Kody's oldest daughter, and she is in a relationship with the same sex. And her name is Audrey, and they have recently got engaged. I think it was around Christmas time. It was on a previous episode. Not for sure on which episode. But they go to visit Mariah and Audrey, and they talk a lot. Mariah talks a lot about, her whole situation with her family and being religious and how that comes to play with everything. And while the Sisterwives are visiting Mariah and Audrey, Kody is the one taking on all the kids, and he's babysitting the children. I said, that's right, I said babysitting, because you never see him. He doesn't he might play an actual role, like a role, but considering he has 4 wives, he's got to split his time up. Therefore, his kids don't have most of their time with their father, like in a monogamous relationship where the mother and father are in the same household and it's day after day after day. Well, it's not like that for Kody and his wives. He goes to each house, so therefore the kids aren't getting all of him all the time when he's home. So yeah, it's babysitting, and there's something that kind of struck a nerve with me. Like, I see part of it, but he struck a nerve with me a little bit on this episode. But we'll go ahead and go on to where it happened at the beginning. This starts off with the Sisterwives going to Chicago, and Mariah and her girlfriend aren't available on the first day that the Sisterwives end up in Chicago. And it's like, well, you would think they would clear their schedule if they know we're coming. They're college students, and plus they're younger. You know what I mean? when you get older, you tend to value the time you have with your family. But when you're younger, that kind of is on the back burner, you know, crappy, but it's true. I ended up valuing my mother after I turned 18. Well, let's say not right away, but as I got older, I respected my mother so much, and her and I, she was my mother through my younger years, my teenage years, and then she became more of a friend to me than a mother. Well, she was a mother, but she was a friend to me as well. Um, that I could tell her anything. So I very much cherished our relationship as an adult more than I did a kid because quite frankly, I took advantage of my mother a lot when I was a child. So they'll get to the point where they're still young. But yeah, so while they wasn't available on the first day, the sister wives ended up going to, I guess, a dinner. They don't rather say whether it was a lunch or dinner or whatnot, but they go out to eat together. Mary talks about finding a rental and that she signed a 1 year lease. And in a private interview, Robin says that she would never sign a 1 year rental like Robin did and thinks it was a stupid move that she did and that she prefers a 2 year lease. And Robin is set on a rental and not buying still because she thinks that buying a house will set them further back on building on Coyote's past. You would think that they would have stayed in Las Vegas until they got, the money situated and all that and started building. But they're not very good at the whole financial game, and as we can see. But when it comes to this 1 year or 2 year lease, it doesn't make a difference because, as Robin should see, that doesn't matter if you're in a rental agreement or not. And I'm sure it's probably written in the contract that if the owners want to sell, you have no choice but to move out. So rather it be a 1 year or a 2 year, that could still happen. And to me, I prefer, in my opinion, that I would prefer a 1 year lease compared to a 2 year lease because you never know what's going to happen with that 1 year lease. You might think, oh, my landlord is great. They you might get a good impression at first, but you never know once you move into that house. If that house has issues and the landlord becomes a slum landlord and they don't fix the issues, maybe it's not the right type of house that you want to live in. So at least you only have 1 year and then you can get out of that agreement. But if you have 2 years, you're stuck there unless you pay an enormous amount to get out of that rental agreement. Hey, Bargain, how are you? Bargain's been getting into watching it since I've been doing these and made her curious on to what's going on. But yeah, so I think it doesn't matter whether you're in a 1 year or 2 year. To me, 2 year lease seems like forever. Why would you ever want to go in that route? But I mean, if you're dead set on it, then I mean, that's your choice. But I don't think there's much of a difference as far as it's going to save you in the long run if you get a 2 year lease. It's not like that. Because, I mean, if you sign a 1 year lease and the landlord's happy with you being there and you're happy to where you're at and you're fine with the landlord, then, I mean, you can always sign another 1 year lease to make it 2 years. So to me, that doesn't make any difference. Then it goes on with Janelle saying that this whole thing between Robin and Kody must be a really big argument because Robin and Kody never are very vocal about, the things that go on in their relationship, and Robin wouldn't dare to talk about this stuff. So with her talking about it shows the other sister wives that this must be a really big deal between Robin and Kody. Plus, a lot of people have always said, and this is just speculation, but allegedly, Robin is the favorite, so he never has that many issues with Robin compared to the other wives. So this is very odd for everybody to see, and Janelle makes that very points that out that it's very obvious. And Robin goes on to say that when she gets back, Kody has taken her and the kids to go house shopping, and that she hopes the kids don't like any of the houses, because she doesn't want to buy. To me, that is greedy, or that is very self-centered in a way, because I mean, obviously you're 6 or 7 weeks out. Well, probably by this time they're either probably like 5 or 6 weeks out on having to move. Very unlikely that something is going to show up, and you need to have that backup plan. So to say that you hope that your kids hate the houses that you look at because you don't want to buy a house, you want to rent. I understand the frustration on, setting back the whole thing, setting Coyote's past back, but you have to think about what's better for your kids, because she keeps on saying that Kody is the one stressing her kids out about all this. But no, Robin, you're the one that's stressing everybody out too. Because if you guys would have just settled on, hey, we're 2 months out, we need to buy a house because we can't find anything. Because Robin has these all these wants, and they're not needs by any means, because she wants a 5 or 6 bedroom. The way how many kids they have, it's very easy for doable to do a 4 bedroom house. Where the kids could share rooms, but you got to think, we're going to moving out to Coyote's Pass soon. So if the girls have to share a bedroom for the time being, then so be it. But Robin doesn't want that. She wants a 5 or 6 bedroom. So it's very outlandish the way she thinks. So, I mean, to me, she's being very, I don't know if self-centered is the right word for it, but she's thinking about all her wants instead of her needs. And she needs to start thinking about other people. So on the whole buying the house situation, Robin's, of course, we're not going to buy. Christine says that she sees both Robin and Cody's side. Probably just the way I think. It's more what I'm thinking that Christine thinks is, we see Robin that she doesn't want to set the whole Coyote's Pass plan back, but she also sees Cody's side of needing to find another house as soon as possible. And if there's nothing that to your liking that you want to rent, you got to buy. If you're not going to settle for just the needs and not the wants on renting, you need to buy a house. I was just checking to see if um, I took off mute because I wasn't for sure. But anyways, Janelle's like, whatever works. It's what God sees in the future. He'll guide you. You know how Janelle, she's always thinking, oh, sunshine, rainbows, and butterflies. And then Mary agrees with Janelle, saying whatever works, is what you need to do. But she's not down for the whole God thing. Like, God ain't telling you where to move, is basically what she said. Which leads me to think in my head, what pops up in my head is, okay, she's not with the whole God thing, which leads into the whole catfishing incident, which leads to, there's a good possibility that Robin could eventually leave, because if she's not believing this whole God thing, like, Kody and saying that God's telling him to buy and Robin saying, no, God's telling me to rent, if she's not with the whole God thing, it's a good possibility that she's becoming unbrainwashed, if you get what I'm saying. And then, so yeah, that's what the whole. I have my high hopes of Mary moving out. And speaking of that catfishing, I seen on a certain someone's channel that I talked about in my last couple of videos. She had actually interviewed the catfish, and I knew this was going to happen because she has about 60,000 subscribers. And this, from what I understand, allegedly, from what I've been told, that this catfish is very desperate and wanting attention, and she's allegedly, and I'm saying this with air quotes like you can see me, allegedly she's a stalker. So I kind of knew that this catfish person would reach out to Katie uh, without a crystal ball. I knew she would reach out to her. Yeah, so but what Katie doesn't realize, she obviously didn't do her homework onto the whole catfishing thing. Because when I was told about this whole catfish person, and I did some digging, I was like, yeah, I've already been in enough stalker-ish situations that I'm not going to get myself into anything that I don't want to get in. I'm a PG channel, well, PG-13 more or less, and I don't want no parts of it. So that's on Katie. But moving on goes to the scene now that Cody's with the kids and they're making pizza. The pizzas looked crappy. I should have grabbed the screen grab because somebody I go back and read people's tweets from after the show because I tweet during the show about my channel and whatnot and my opinions at the time, and then I read people's tweets after I end my or after the show's over, and people screenshot what the pizza looked like, and he's like, "I'm going to tell you how to make pizza." Like he was all confident. It looked like crap, and they were like half burnt. But that's neither here nor there. Then it goes, and like I said, there was nothing much to it, just them making pizza. Then it goes to the next scene that's at Mariah's place, and Mary talks about how she loves Mariah and Audrey's dogs. They're like her grandchildren, basically. Then in the private interview, Mariah goes in to how she met Audrey and whatnot, and that she had an awakening when she was attracted to Audrey. I'm like, oh, hey, I must be attracted to this type of person. And they show a scene from a different season to where Audrey, or not Audrey, Mariah came out to the family that she's attracted to the opposite or same sex, and um the sister wives noticed that she was glowing and she's been happy for the last couple months. So yeah, she talks about the awakening of that. After that, it goes back to Kody teaching some of his kids how to ride bikes. Now there's a rule on my channel, unless I necessarily have to show, like if it's a good story, say like I didn't get it out there because I was going through a hard time in February. But when I was going to post about Kale having her fourth pregnancy and the gender reveal she did with her younger children, I included their pictures because it's an upbeat, happy story. But like when it comes to fair stories, I blocked Sophia out. I don't want to have kids on my channel like that, and I try to keep them off most of the time whenever possible. So I didn't want to show Truly, which I wish I could. Well, that's the name of the daughter, is Truly. He, like I said, Kody was teaching his kids how to ride a bike. They went to the store and they were able to pick out their own bikes. And this is where the whole Truly, which is Christine and Cody's daughter, I do believe she's either the youngest or the second youngest daughter. And apparently, Truly has tried to ride a bike in the past, and Christine had warned Kody that she had informed Kody that there's been some trouble about the whole bike riding in the past, which shows you that he's very absent in times like these. Because I remember Brad, my spouse, he's the one that taught all the kids to ride a bike. And this is where different beliefs are going to be coming in. But he is around and he's the one that taught them how to ride a bike. So for him not to even know that Christine had informed him about this issue of her having a hard time riding a bike in the past kind of shows you how absent he is. So Shirley was absolutely whining the whole time, and she wouldn't follow directions. And this is where you gotta have patience at. Because Truly began to cry, saying that she doesn't want to do this. And Cody's reply to her was, while laughing, remind you, well, that's too bad. So when she's whining, going, I don't want to do this, he's like, well, that's too bad. You're going to do it. I don't have and for my situation, I don't have the patience to teach a child to ride a bike. That's why I never did it, because I knew I get frustrated and probably say these things too, but I know my place and I know that I can't do it. I don't have the patience, and I let Brad do that. That's when, like, the parenting roles switch, on what you do. Like when Ariana, she's at that age where she's getting ready to get her learner's permit and drive. Yeah, I'm not going to be in the car with her. That's going to be Brad's job because I don't have the patience for that. I know my role and I'm going to step back when I know to step back. But he tells her, well, that's too bad, and that she's got to ride it. Truly goes on to say that it's not fair and that she should be able to choose what she wants to do, and that it's her body. Like, she doesn't want to ruin it or doesn't want to bruise it, and it's her body that she should be able to choose. And he said that, she's too young. You're too young to you're too young to decide on your own. This is where you're supposed to encourage them. Like, I know you can choose, but let's try it. Let's give it the benefit of the doubt. And you're supposed to encourage them, you know what I mean? But he didn't encourage her at all. Then Kody's response was, there's no crying in baseball, sweetheart. Well, first off, Kody, the same baseball we're talking about is riding a bike. And even Truly says that it's not baseball. Do I believe that Truly was being extra whiny and being over the top? Yes, but again, if he does not have the patience to do that, that's where he needs to know his role and not do it. Because if you ain't got the patience and the encouragement to do it, then don't do it. Then he makes Truly go into the house, and she cries some more, well, more like whining. And then Truly says, I'm trying my best. And then Kody's response to that was, no, you're not. You're not trying your best. Yeah, let's put self-doubt in there a little bit more, Kody. And then Kody, in a private interview, said that he thinks that there's an underlying issue there that he has to talk to Christine about it, which he should have done in the first place. And if there's an underlying issue, maybe could have been a little bit more sympathetic towards Truly and what she's feeling. Maybe she's traumatized from the last time she tried to ride a bike, or there's something there. You have to consider people's feelings, Kody, and that's one thing I don't think a polygamous man has is a way to take into other people's feelings. They're more self-absorbed. And then the next scene, sorry, I have to get a drink. The next scene is back to Chicago, and they're at dinner. And this part is all about the engagement between Mariah and Audrey. And Mary wants to throw them two engagement parties. Well, not necessarily she wants to throw them. Mary says that she thinks that they should have two engagement parties because Mariah's sisters want to throw her an engagement party. I guess, more like a bachelorette kind of engagement party. But then Mary wants to do one, um and Mariah finds it weird to do too. Mary explains that she wants to do it at the bed and breakfast in Utah, which is called the Lizzie Bed and Breakfast. And I did pull up pictures here and here on the screen. This is an Airbnb bed and breakfast, whichever you want to call it. That used to be one of used to be in Mary's family, and it was up for sale. And Mary wanted to buy it and turn it into like a bed and breakfast type situation. So she thought that it'd be good to have it here, and Mariah was more down for this. She warms up to the idea so that friends from Utah can join, but she still thinks it's weird to have two parties. Around this time, Robin says that it's okay to have two parties because there's two brides. Weird, 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 weird. Robin jumping in with her weirdness. But anyway, Audrey, Mariah's partner, loves the two-party idea. She's like, hey, however many parties they want to throw us, I'm down. I'm ready for a good party. That's her look on it. And then Audrey also tells Mariah that, hey, look, here's an excuse. We're not like most people because most people have one engagement party, but we're not like most people, so why not have two? So it goes on to Mariah saying that they compromised on when they're going to have the wedding. They don't know what year yet, but they've compromised on the month, which Mariah wanted it in October. Audrey wants it in August, so they met in the middle and they're going to do their wedding in September. if they have another season, I could probably see this being on a season. So, yeah, if there might be more seasons. Personally, I'd rather see my five wives with I forgot his name. It's at the tip of my tongue. Brady. I'd rather see Brady and his wives back on their show more than the sister wives because I feel, in my opinion, that they're more authentic than the Brown family. And they were talking about the year, so now they want to have it in September. They compromised on that. They don't know what year yet, but Audrey likes the way 2022 rolls off the tongue, like 2022. To me, I don't roll off the tongue, but she thinks it rolls off the tongue. That year does, and to say it, but she doesn't want to wait that extra time. Then they go on to talking children. Mariah's birthday is on the 29th, and so is Audrey's. And they wanted to, like, oh, we got to have a kid on the 29th. It doesn't work that way. The kid comes when the kid wants to come. Okay? Could not plan that uh, like they really wanted to. Mine actually, I was able to choose my son's birth date because I was after I had my first C-section, I had to have a second C-section. So they said, the doctor's like, oh, well, let's do it on this day. And my mom was like, well, my anniversary is on this day. That would be a great way to remember both of them. And I think it'd be very special. Can we have it on this day? And the doctor agreed to it because it was only like a day or two off. So the doctor agreed to it. So technically, I guess she could do it that way, but it was a C-section, so it might be a little bit different. And then I had a cool doctor too. So, but like I said, it don't work that way usually, typically. Then they talked about how they would have the children, like if they didn't decide to adopt, that if one of them had to carry the child, that it would be Audrey and not Mariah. Mariah said, "Heck no, I don't want to have a pregnancy. I don't want nothing to do with that." And Audrey was a-okay with her being the one to carry a child. She seemed like she brightened up and was happy about the excitement of being pregnant. So if they do have children in the future, if they don't adopt, more than likely Audrey would be the one who would carry the child. And also, just a random weird comment. Robin says, "Well, they got two wombs." Very weird. Just talk about two wombs. Like, uh, can we not? Can we treat it as if they're just a regular couple instead of pointing out the fact, which she's done when she talked about being two brides and then two wombs. Like, can we not do that? Maybe. I don't know. It made me feel some type of way. I might be the only one, but it's like you're pointing out that they're gay. Let's not do that. They're just a regular couple. You know what I mean? Everybody should be treated and talked to right, like fairly. But nonetheless, that this is where I kind of disagree. The first time I actually disagree with Mariah and Audrey was when they were talking about kids. They were talking about they'll probably have two kids because one child sounds horrible. Two children so they can have a friend, and any more than two seems like too many and a lot of work. Now, with myself having two children, well, let me back it up. Me being an only child, which I do have a half brother, but he was like never in the picture. So, and I don't associate with him. So I am an only child between my mom and my father, which I'm more my mother's child. Long story. But so I'm an only child who was raised by my mother mainly. My parents were together for almost 30 years before both of them ended up passing away. I'm an only child. It is horrible in the fact that now that I'm an only child and my parents are gone, I have no family. You know what I mean? The family that I have are in my four walls. Very happy with that, and I've grown accustomed to loving it. Um, But having one child, when and not having a family after they pass on, which will be a long time from now, hopefully, if they do have children. That's the horrible part of it, but I've learned to accept it. Now, to me, other than that, being an only child is not horrible. Like I said, I was raised mainly by my mother because my dad was a truck driver most of my years. He was a baker, then he was a truck driver most of the years, so we didn't see him that often. But I was raised by my mom, and I got everything. You know what I mean? Like I had the best relationship with my mom. We had fun as kids, but yet still raising me. Not like partying together, nothing, not like that. We had like mother daughter days, like we go every Saturday. We go to the mall and the movies, and I had a great relationship with my mom, and I think that's a bond that only one child, not necessarily one child, but I had a great bond with my mom being the only child. Now that I'm the only child and I have two kids of my own, I like to pull my hair out sometimes because they're so polar opposite and they like to fight all the time. So sometimes having two kids to be friends doesn't work out that way all the time. So the whole having two kids to be friends, it don't work out that way all the time. And I also know like thing that popped in my head about this whole how many kids situation. This goes on to me believing that they're not following the religious aspect on anything. Sorry, Red Bull intermission. Um, they're not following their religious beliefs from the FLDS church at all. Because if you think about it, first same-sex same-sex couple against the church or the religion, and then also they're not worried about having as many kids as they can to get closer to God. So they're definitely not following the religious aspect of things. Which in return, again, this is Mariah, who is Mary's daughter, and maybe that can push. Mary could push out of that whole thing. That's my hopes, but we'll see. So moving on to the next scene, they're still in Chicago, and they're at the beach with Mariah and Audrey and their dogs. And off the gate, private interview, Robin complains about going to the beach because it's chilly outside. It's not about spending time with Mariah or Audrey or the dogs. She focuses on how cold it is outside. I don't think it was too cold unless they're living in Las Vegas and Arizona, so they don't have the cold temperatures, but Audrey and Mariah were wearing shorts, so their cold was probably different from our version in the east, northeast. It's probably different for them on the west side than it is for the east. So who knows how cold it was? Probably it was probably in the 60s, I would think. But that's the only thing that Robin had to point out. She's very picky about everything. To me, it seems like she's more picky about a house being chilly and all nitpicking about little things and not actually being grateful for what she does have. She might be grateful, but she's very lacking the gratefulness in the show. Um, you could see on Mary's face that she was very excited to be there. There's a light within Mary about being here with her daughter and having fun. And that might be another reason. I'm going to keep on bringing this up. That might be another reason that might push Mary to go outside of polygamy and stop, move away from everybody and leave the whole polygamy thing behind, because she seemed very happy to be in Chicago. Could that be a possibility in the future? Fingers crossed. But Mary ends up recapping, and this is where it goes into talking about in the previous season where Mariah comes out to all of them. Mary ends up recapping that, and she's very straightforward and honest. And she said that she had a stupid reaction when Mariah told her, and that she's glad Mariah had three other mothers who took the news better than she did, and they reacted better. And that it was a shock. Mary said it was a shock to her And she has seen other people reject family members, but she could never do that to her daughter. Christine even says that it makes her nauseous to even think about rejecting your child, which I think we can all agree on. That it doesn't matter about their life choices, that we're gonna love them no matter what, through everything. And so I agree with them on that one. Mariah, in a private interview, she talks about how when she was a teenager that she wanted to live polygamy because that's what she thought she was supposed to do and the way to live, but she she's bottling her actual feelings up. And as she said that she is grateful for the way her family raised her, but it was also painful, and it's been hard to be religious and gay. And that if she went the whole polygamy route, she herself would probably marry a guy with a few wives, be miserable for most of the years that she'd be there, and then she thinks that she would eventually leave that because that's just not her lifestyle. Kody even mentions Kody even mentions that he doesn't think any of his kids are going to live the polygamy lifestyle, which to each their own. But I think that's probably for the better, in my opinion. And Mariah also brought up, and it's the only thing that I can that I really liked what Kody said to Mariah, because Mariah had brought up something that Kody had told her in the past, and I like the way, and this is what everybody should live by. And I'm glad Kody thinks that way about his daughter. I just wish she had more sense in other areas of his life, but that's neither here or there. And what Kody said to Mariah was that in the past he has had a conversation with God many years ago, and that God told him, this is what he said God told him, you love and I judge, which I think that's what everybody should live by. Like, whether it be your kids or somebody who comes out, of liking the same sex, or when it comes to race, people of different ethnicities or whatnot, we should all just love one another. If you don't like them, don't like them. That's what I'm saying. But, like, if your child comes out that they like someone of the same sex, then love them. That's all you can do is love them. And if you are religious, just love them and let God be the judge. You know what I mean? I don't I don't have the same beliefs of that whole thing, but I love my children regardless, so that's neither here nor there. But if you are religious, that's what everybody should live by. Love, just love, and God will judge. And she says that's all Cody's ever done. Mariah said that's all Cody's ever done was just love her. Which I think their dynamic when she's living in the household is a lot different when they lived in one house and she had more time with her father. These younger kids don't have all that time with their father because he's in different homes. I think it's a little bit different. But the next scene is back with the Kody and the kids. Kody takes 3 picnic tables to Coyote's Pass, and later on in a tweet, like I said, I go on Twitter after the episode's over with, and Robin tweets that her dad is the one who actually made the picnic tables, and they were pretty good looking picnic tables. They looked really sturdy and wasn't made cheaply, and that he wanted to take the picnic tables out on the Coyote's Pass because he wanted to take the kids there to have hot dogs for dinner and then do s'mores and just hang out. I did see Mary's mom, Bonnie, there, but she was just like in the background with the kids. She didn't say anything on camera or anything like that. You normally don't see her say anything on camera unless she's talking to one of them, but she doesn't. I haven't really seen her interact with the cameras that much. But she was there. And Savannah, in the private interview, who is Nell and Cody's daughter, says that her dad, Kody, is a scatterbrain. And that's very blunt and true, but that's the least of it. Is that the way? Oh, that's the word I'm thinking about. Is that the least of it? But that's a nice way. That's a nice way of putting where Kody is. She said he's just everywhere, you know, doing 10 different things, almost like he has ADHD. I don't know if he does or not, but usually, usually kids with ADHD are a little bit scatterbrained, you know. So that's putting it lightly on what Kody is. But that's his daughter's version of it. Kody says that Robin still wants to rent, but it's time to buy, and that the time has run out. And he said that if he was a stinker, and this is just words from Kody, if he was a stinker, he would go out and put an offer up on a house while Robin is out of town. But he isn't going to do that because it's just the wrong thing to do. Yeah, I don't think Robin would like that too much, but I could see Kody still doing that. That's sad to say, but I could see him doing that. Hi, Robin. How are you? Hope you're having a good night. Oh no, what did I do? Hope you're having a good night, Robin. And then it goes on back to Chicago is the next scene. Wait. Before that, now, like I said, with Twitter, I've seen a lot of people making a big deal out of a scene that Kody had while he was holding his youngest daughter that him and Robin have together. He was holding her, and then he had melted marshmallow there roasting, you know, marshmallows doing s'mores, and people were making a big deal about this scene where Kody takes the melted marshmallow that's on his finger. I guess he scooped it up or whatever, and feeds it to his daughter off the finger. And a lot of people on social media is like, "Don't feed her from your finger. That's disgusting." Da, 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 da. I understand that it's probably bacteria or germs or whatnot, but I couldn't tell you how many times to me, that's been a little bit too much of a germaphobe, which right now, during the times that we're having, I'm not going to say the C word that's going on in the world right now. But times like now, of course not, but we have to remember this was filmed like a year ago. Um, but I didn't see it as a big deal like other people. He just gave his daughter some melted marshmallow, and she didn't even eat it all the way off his finger. Like he had to take the rest off because she didn't get down to his finger. I think people were just blown out of proportion. It's almost like if somebody seen him eating a s'more and then handed the same s'more to his daughter. I think people would be upset about it. I just think people in this incident were being a little bit too crucial to what was going on. There's a lot more things we can talk about Kody and bash Kody for that we don't have to talk about his daughter eating some marshmallow from his finger. Just saying. Yeah, kids already have germs on their fingers. This is Cody's finger that he gave her the marshmallow from. But like nowadays, I can see why we would do it, with the whole C word going on. But I didn't see a big deal with him giving her like a marshmallow. I don't know. It's just like how many times do people lick their own fingers? Like I I don't necessarily lick my fingers because I have long nails, but like if you got a if you're eating a tuna fish sandwich and a piece of tuna falls on your finger, a lot of people are gonna eat that. I mean, I don't think it was a big deal. I mean, if it happens all the time, yeah, too many germs, but one incident is not gonna like it's gonna the end all be all. Yeah, and kids eat with their fingers all the time. So true. But going back, the next scene is going back to Chicago, and the sister wives, Mariah and Audrey, do like this axe throwing where they have to hit the bullseye. And there was not much going on there. They had a little competition, um, where they, two of them go against each other, then a winner goes up against somebody else, and then a winner goes up against. They just did it that way. and they had like a shirt or and whoever won got to say or got a shirt. I wasn't for sure on that. Said that you can kiss my axe, meaning something else. But they thought it was hilarious. But that's all that happened with that. And then after that, they went out to lunch or dinner. I'm assuming it was lunch because it looked pretty early in the day, but it could have been dinner. They all went out. Robin apologized for being a party pooper because she was picturing the axe being thrown at other places because she doesn't know why she is in Chicago with needing to find a house and just getting off the phone with Aurora, who is one of their older daughters who had the anxiety attacks in the last episode. She had to talk her out of an anxiety attack while they were in Chicago because she had gotten a text from Aurora saying that she was panicking and stressing. And that Robin just felt like she shouldn't have been in Chicago because she had other, the whole renting and her daughter, she had other issues she had to focus on. Christine at this time makes a joke with Robin about being a party pooper, like, oh yeah, you're such a party pooper, when all the other women were saying, oh no, you're not. But it kind of irritated Mary. This scene was like, what? It kind of irritated Mary that Christine was joking about it because Robin was being very sensitive and almost on the verge of tears with this whole situation. Oh, many times have we taken a swipe of frosting. That's a good example, Robin. That you know how many times you take a swipe of icing from the jar, or like cake, or like if you get the icing after cutting the cake and you put it on the plate, you get icing on your fingers, you're gonna lick it off. It's normal. Like this whole germaphobe thing, I understand taking precautions, but there's a line between precautions and being too cautious. But in the world now, right now, with the C word going on, I can understand. But when this was filmed, no. And this part, after Christine jokes with Robin and Mary gets a little frustrated, next part becomes a little tense because Mary tells Christine just to shut her mouth. She's like, just shut your mouth. And Christine looks at her and tells Mary, I'm gonna punch your face. Like, it was kind of in a joking way, but yet it wasn't. And that's something like I would see me as a kid saying, like, I'm gonna punch you in your face. Sounds very kiddish to me, but who am I? Who am I? Then Christine wants to toast to Mariah and Audrey's relationship, and before, when they were the very first dinner in Chicago where Mariah and Audrey wasn't there, Christine had a toast with their waters. But Mary says that Christine just wants to toast all the time because she can't toast bread in the toaster. And they all laugh and giggle about it because apparently Christine toasts her bread in the oven, and she said back when all the kids were living together, she only had a toaster that had 2 holes in it for 2 pieces of toast. And she said having that many kids, it's harder to toast, getting toast bread to get it out to the kids, and without them complaining one's getting it first and all that crap. So she would do it in the oven because it would toast all the bread at once, which would make sense. But ever since she done it back then, she still does it to this day. It's just a habit that she has picked up and never put down. But yeah, so they made a joke about that. And there was just like a little bit stuff back and forth, plans about the wedding. They went back to the wedding and they don't know how to start planning, and the paying for the wedding and the whole engagement. They don't want to be engaged too long, but they don't want to get married right now. They want to space it out and plan it, and they're stressing over it and yada, yada, yada. All that. That was pretty much the end of the episode. it does show clips from the next episode. It should be episode 13. And Robin and Kody go house searching. And Aurora likes the house that they are in, that they were looking at. And Kody mentions to Aurora that she would have to change schools because it's a different school district. And Robin freaks out. She's like, no, can't happen. Nope. She's like freaking out. She's like, you're freaking out my kids some more. No, Robin, you're freaking your kids out too. Both of you are. Because none of this should have happened this way. You should have waited in Las Vegas until you started plans with Coyote's Pass. But that didn't happen. So now that you're in the situation you are in, by you keep on waiting to the last minute, that's stressing the girl out too. Because, yes, it would set you back on Coyote's Pass. But if it's causing this much friction, I would say the heck with it. Let's buy. I know it's going to set us back. We're going to have to work extra hard. We're going to have to save as much as we can. A little bit less frivolous spending. That's what you're going to have to do. Stop, whatever y'all are doing, like the way you're spending, set a budget and do it that way. But she is a part of the problem of stressing her kids out as well, not just Kody. And I guess it shows the part where Robin and Kody are sitting at a table like they're supposed to sign something, which I'm thinking they're signing like to buy a house, the contract. But Robin won't sign it until the last minute. And of course, in a private interview, Kody goes on a rampage and whatnot. So yeah, that's what happened in this episode and what's going to happen in next episode. This is quite a longer live stream than what I had last week because it was a very drawn out episode. I'm going to work on a video. I'm going to get right. Sorry. I'm going to work on a video right after I get off here. If I do end up getting that video done, I might go live again. It'll probably be like 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. More or less just to put a video out there because I don't want to do like a whole long dedicated video to it, but I might do the Ulta 21 Days of Beauty. I might, since I got the StreamYard pulled up, I'll show, the actual website and pull it up that way and talk about what I'm going to get and what I've tried before and recommendations and all, just like a little fun stream. Probably nobody will join that because, like I said, it'll be really early in the morning. And if I don't do it tonight, I might, because I have to do this video. So I might postpone it till tomorrow night, which will probably be more than likely. If I do go live tomorrow night, yeah, let's set it for tomorrow night because I don't think I'll have time tonight. But I'll go live tomorrow night, especially if I haven't done it tonight. I'll go live tomorrow night and we'll talk about the Ulta 21 Days of Beauty. And Sephora is actually doing some shady stuff. Like whatever Ulta has on sale for that day for 50% off, so does Sephora. But I would go with Sephora because, of course, their sales are better because you get the point system. And by the time I get done buying my 21 Days of Ulta stuff, I have enough points saved up that I get like 12 to 30, no, not 12, more like 30 to 40 bucks off on anything in the store. And I end up using that on my big lip gloss sale this year. But we'll go into more about that tomorrow, and I'll teach you how to save money when you're shopping for the Ulta sale and what are the easier ways to do it. So I'm going to go through that tomorrow night. So I'll probably go live tomorrow night and do the Ulta 21 Days of Beauty. So if you want to join me, that'll be the makeup part of my channel, I guess. So yeah, and if you haven't subscribed down below, be sure to do so. If you like anything to do with reality TV, a little bit of gossip from reality TV, and a little bit of makeup, be sure to do that. And if you could do me a favor and hit the like button, I would greatly appreciate it to get it out there. So yeah, I'll talk to you guys later. Until next time, remember, it's always better to be on the outside of the drama looking in. Take care, stay safe, bye. Exit.